Welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to be exploring a really profound paradigm shift on value creation, and this is drawn directly from Salima's weekly receipts newsletter. Listen, if you've ever felt like your hard work just isn't translating into those big financial milestones you've set for yourself, stick around. This journey is going to completely reframe how you define success. Think of this brilliant quote right here as our hook for today. Abundance doesn't always arrive at the door you're watching. It instantly shatters that illusion we all have that wealth only comes from the places we expect it to. We spend so much time just staring at one specific door, a promotion, a certain product launch, maybe a single client, that we completely miss the windows flying open all around us. So our story begins with a pretty intimidating anchor. $10,000, specifically a 10-day, $10,000 challenge inside a Maven group. The goal was highly specific and honestly pretty high pressure. Salima had just 10 days to upgrade her digital products, sharpen her content, and intentionally build brand new income streams. To actually pull this off, Salima had to set up her environment for success. Her initial strategy included making a small but super clarifying investment of just $20 a month in Claude AI. The idea was to use it to help structure her big business push. It was a really practical, foundational step, just to refine her thinking and get ready for the sprint. Now, look at this expected path. It makes total sense, right? It's the classic blueprint we are all taught. Step 1, make more content. Step 2, create more products. Step 3, get more sales. It's a perfectly straight line. But today, we're going to dramatically tear down this linear assumption. Because in reality, absolutely none of those linear steps happened as planned. The forced straight-line sprint to $10,000 simply didn't materialize. But, and this is the crucial part, she discovered something vastly more important in the process. The overarching goal of finding abundance was met, just not at all in the way she drew it up on the whiteboard. Section 1, Unexpected Forms of Wealth and the Alternative Currencies. Let's break down 3 entirely different currencies of abundance: alignment, peace, and access. These totally bypass your traditional sales funnels, yet they absolutely transform your daily lived experience. We usually don't count these things because, well, they don't show up on our monthly bank statements. There's no neat little line item for them in a spreadsheet, but make no mistake, they are undeniably valuable. To really illustrate this first currency of alignment, Salima shares a remarkable story. So a tenant left one of her properties. Normally, that is a huge stressor, right? But almost instantly, without a single gap in occupancy, a new tenant appeared. And not just any tenant, one who paid 10 months upfront plus a 2-month deposit. A massive amount of cash was released all at once, purely through energetic alignment. And what's really cool is, instead of rushing out to spend that sudden influx of cash, they just let it sit. They actually have a project planned for the end of the year, so that money is now resting quietly in an account, generating its own background income while they wait. Money is still moving, just doing its thing in the background. That, right there, is a profound form of abundance, which perfectly illustrates our second currency, peace. Just look at this contrast. On the left, you've got the anxiety of running an Airbnb. Constant messages at 2 a.m. about Wi-Fi passwords, every new guest bringing a potential crisis. And then on the right, the calm of finding a single long-term tenant. One agreement, no emergency calls, just total breathing room. A drama-free family business is literal wealth. Salima actually noted how much she hated seeing her sister so anxious and overwhelmed all the time. By pivoting a vacant property over to a long-term rental, she was intentionally choosing peace over the potential higher margins of short-term rentals. Consciously choosing peace like that is a massive paradigm shift in how we calculate our own net worth. And then there's our third currency, access. Out of nowhere, Salima opens her email to find 2 free weeks to Carrie Green's Female Entrepreneurs Association platform. This was something she had wanted to join for months but missed out on before. Wealth here takes the form of perfect timing and pure ease. It's an opportunity arriving right at the exact moment you finally have the headspace and readiness to actually use it. Have you ever noticed how the right resources appear exactly when you have the bandwidth for them? That is wealth. Section 2, tuning your frequency and the mindset shift. So the underlying mechanic making this entire shift possible is really about tuning your psychological frequency. Look at the low frequency channel, saying things like, "I'm not smart enough," or "wealthy people are just luckier." That produces nothing but victimhood. Literally no ideas can grow in that kind of soil. But switch to a high frequency channel, that breeds ultimate resourcefulness. It asks, what problem am I perfectly placed to solve right now? It really comes down to this idea. When you subtly shift those internal channels, the questions you ask yourself change, and those new questions act as the signal that calls in new ideas. You basically stop looking at what you lack, and you start scanning your immediate environment for the value you already possess. Section 3, creating value right now with the 30-day practice. Because theory is great, but application is everything, right? Salima introduces this 30-day practice to start generating wealth without needing a single dollar of startup capital. Every morning, you just ask yourself how you can create value with what you already have. Maybe it's unglamorous. Maybe it's offering to babysit for working neighbors at a fair rate, or doing the weekly grocery shop for several families all at once for a fee. You just look at your existing skills and environment and turn one simple trip into multiple, very real income streams. Section 4, the sweetness of proof and untethering the payout. This is kind of the emotional climax of our whole explainer today. Remember, we started with that huge, intimidating $10,000 anchor. But during this challenge, Salima's very first digital product sale was for just $7. $7. Yet that specific number represented a massive, absolutely undeniable proof that her value was real. It's honestly never just about the amount. That first $7, it's the absolute foundation for everything else that comes after it, because it proves a concept. It proves that value successfully moved from you out into the world, and someone on the receiving end decided it was worth paying for. That feeling is just irreplaceable. Now, even though Salima hasn't hit her big 10K challenge target just yet, she leans on this classic wisdom from Socrates. The unexamined life is not worth living. Examining your life changes what you're actually able to see. It helps you stop staring at that one single closed door and helps you notice all the various doors that money and abundance are already using to enter your life every day. So I want to leave you hanging on this one powerful question to absorb today. How can you create value with what you already have? Stop waiting for the absolute perfect conditions. Look at your skills, your time, your relationships. What real value can you create right now, exactly where you stand? Keep examining that, and we will see you in the next explainer.